Mhm.
Hi, Haley. We're so happy to have you here for this interview, and we're thrilled that you did this virtual residency with us. Can you maybe introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about you?
So first, I want to say thanks to you. It was an amazing residency, and I got to connect on a very interesting level with everyone because I say interesting in the best way. Because I thought it would be more about the arts and more about what we do, but sometimes it's also good to talk about our experiences, and most of us, our experiences make our work. So
Yes.
um it was beautiful to connect on that level with everyone. So yeah, my name is Vesuhely Americaan, but you can call me Haley. It's easier. Story of my life. Everyone thinks my name is difficult, so I just say Haley. And I'm a visual artist and creative writer from Curacao.
Amazing. And can you tell us a little bit more about your experience that you were studying in the Netherlands?
Yeah. Um, so what I was talking about during the residency was mostly about the culture shock I went through when I went to the Netherlands. I think everyone, when they go abroad to study or to live for a while, they will experience culture shock. But I think in my case, there were a lot of other things at work. My own rebellion in a way, and trying not to adapt, and um, because we have a history with the Netherlands, so we are a former colony. So obviously, there's some tension there, and also the language, which is something some of us really struggle with the sense that I will speak for me, don't speak for everyone else, but for me, it has, um, I kind of connected the language with authority because of um, because of school. And obviously we were taught everything in Dutch, so basically we were not allowed to learn in our own language, and every book and everything was in Dutch. So we would have teachers who are more chill about it and would still teach in Papiamento, but everything in the book is still in Dutch. So it's very confusing sometimes for someone, and I think that's why we think in more than one language, because it's so confusing to they say it in Papiamento and Dutch, because there are some terms that you cannot say in Papiamento, and then you have to look what's in the book and then understand it, but you're hearing something else in a different language, you know. So it was very complicated, but I think we're used to it, so it's fine. Um, and also that most of my Dutch teachers that taught me Dutch, they were very strict and always like so distant from us in a way. So I think I had that kind of, that's why I had this kind of connection with the language, or that it's just authority. And in my way through my culture shock and not trying to adapt, I also chose not to speak Dutch. So I was in an international class, so I had the possibility to be able to just speak English. But then I also chose in other occasions to just speak English, you know. And then when it got like difficult for the person who could not speak English, I would say like, okay, you can say it in Dutch. And some people were like nice about it, and some people were very annoyed at me because of it, because they're like, if you can speak English, why would you make me speak it? If you can speak Dutch, why would you make me speak in English? But I'm more comfortable with English, so why should I then be uncomfortable for you? So it's a very
Yeah.
relationship. But yeah, so that was my rebellion. Like I was like, I'm not gonna speak Dutch. And in hindsight, I think it's funny now that I think of it, but I also kind of separated myself from the two different narratives that we would have that is like either you just hang around with a lot of Dutch people and then make sure that you, or that you don't hang around with Dutch people and you only hang around with, let's say, Antillean people, people from the Antilles. That does not exist anymore, and that's why I don't like the term Antilles, but for lack of a better reference right now, let's just say Antilles. And then they also don't practice their Dutch, so their Dutch is still mediocre, let's say. So I separated myself from those two narratives and just stayed in between with my English in a way. Long story short, I just super.
But this is so amazing because you speak several languages and it is a very big part of your work, and you're continuing to working with languages, incorporating it in different ways in your project.
Yes. Should I say something about it?
Yes, please.
Like,
I think there was a delay in
so
sound. I think there was a delay in sound.
Okay. So I speak Papiamento, which is a mixture of Dutch, English, French, Portuguese, African languages. So it's a very rich language that was just recognized as a language. So it hasn't been so long that we can call ourselves or that we can say it's a language. So obviously there are things that are changing constantly. And there are a lot of people that can not write it still because they never were taught how to actually write Papiamento. So before they would just use the Dutch way of writing to write Papiamento. Now we have our own grammar and everything, so it's great. So now we can learn how to write our own language. But I can say it's sad to say that my mom and my sister is 9 years older than me, and my mom obviously is like 30 years older than me, and they both did not learn how to write Papiamento. So I'm the first one in my family. In my mom, me. So obviously my cousins also learned how to write Papiamento. So you can see how young it is, you know. But obviously everyone can talk, everyone can knows how to speak Papiamento, but to write, not everyone to write it properly. And I speak Spanish, and that is because of television, basically, because in the 1990 something and 2000s, early 2000s, we only had like a few channels that we could watch, and then we had the Venezuelan TV channel that we could watch. So basically everyone was watching those channels. So then you learn through TV. So basically my first language was Papiamento, and then my second language was Spanish, just by hearing it, because that's what I was consuming. And then I learned the grammar and everything when I was in high school. But I already knew how to and how to write a bit. And all the rules I knew them when I went to high school. And then Dutch, obviously, then the third, because of school, that's what you learn in school. So from the moment you get into school, it's all Dutch. And then those four, right? Papiamento, yeah. And I'm learning French, but I don't dare to say I speak French. And I also know some Korean, but that also does.
Wow. That's very impressive. I was so fascinated with the text that you have on your blog. That was like you were switching between languages in one sentence. That is like really interesting, like as the form and everything. And you responded also to that.
I had a question while I was reading it, like, because some of the things I couldn't understand, but only the English I could understand. And maybe, so I thought, why or when does the switch come? Because you're writing the sentences in some of the languages, then you switch to English, then you switch to, and then I was thinking, why the switch here? Like I'm almost certain that there is something there, like where the switch occurs, you know. How the switch occurs, yeah.
I think it's a thing of expression. So the language that you express that kind of feeling more often, then you switch to that language, I think. Because there are certain things that I say a lot in Papiamento, but then I hear it a lot in English, maybe, and then I kind of connect to that in English, and then I switch to English. So when we're talking, we're also doing that. Like one time, I have this Brazilian friend, and while when I was studying in the Netherlands, and a friend of mine who also went to the same school here, same art school here in Curacao, came to my studio, and we were talking. And then it's like a mixture from Dutch, Papiamento, and English, and we were just switching and switching and switching. And then my friend was like, because she's Portuguese, so she can understand a bit of Papiamento, and she can understand English and some words in Dutch. So she was like, oh, can you guys pick a language? It's so annoying that you keep switching, but it's just so, I don't know, so normal that we just switch. Yeah.
Yeah, do you think, how is this affecting your other parts of works? Like you're combining writing with visual arts and like video and everything. So like everything has this smooth transition, how it flows from one form to another.
So you mean like the way I speak in connection to the way I work?
Yeah, I mean, generally, how would you feel that there is a connection, and how would you describe this connection between all these different forms that you're using in your art and expressing yourself?
I've never thought about it in that way. I think it's a question of quick thinking. So in my work, I'm not sure if I'm so quick, but I do trust the process. So I'm very visual in my head. So most of the times I have a sort of a vision, I would say, of something that needs to happen in one of the works. Like for example, I have this work called Wetenschap, translated as be civilized. And in this video, I had two mugs. I saw it in my head. I had this vision, a white mug and a black mug, just doing this. And I had a vision, but I didn't know what to do with it. But I was like, I'm going to figure it out. And I just trust the process. And the evaluation was in a week, and I did not know what it was going to be. And I was just like, I need to figure it out because that is what I need to do. And I would move away and I would come back to the mugs. And then I would move away and I would come back to the mugs. And then one day before the evaluation, I just asked this girl something and she started talking and I was like, I know what I have to do with the mug. So since then, I just trust the process. If I see it in my head, I know eventually it will come to life.
Very good.
So yeah, I don't know if it connects with the way I speak, but yeah.
Yeah. That's really interesting. Do you want to say something about what is usually where you find inspiration? What are the themes that motivates you to explore, and anything that you feel like sharing?
Okay. So basically, I think I am the inspiration for my own work, even though that sounds very arrogant, maybe. But it's just most of the things that is happening around me, or sometimes things I don't understand. Um, and I kind of see my work as a therapy in a way. So I just work through stuff in my work. So obviously when I was in the Netherlands, I was working through the culture shock. So one thing that I enjoy to do a lot in my work is also know other people's experiences, because I live in a world where there are more people. So I cannot go off of my own, only my experience. Um, and and just think that I can make a work, and a work that everyone can relate to, just based on my feelings. So I like to talk to people about how they experience the same thing I experienced. So when I was in the Netherlands, I did a lot of interviews with people who lived in the Netherlands, went back to Curacao, and people who lived and stayed or studied and stayed in the Netherlands. People who I just everyone that could kind of relate to whatever that I was feeling, I would just have a conversation with them. And then when I came back to Curacao, the main thing that I was struggling with was that I changed, because my frame of reference broadened when I went outside of Curacao. So it was like I'm 10 years older, and then I came back and everyone is still the same. So how to either go back or just stay where you are, bring everyone with you, or just be okay with the fact that we are separated now. So that was a struggle for me for a while, and I was working through it through a work that is called How to Get Closure. And I did like a series of 5 different ways. I split it in different stages of how you would get to closure. But then I realized that it was something very easy, and I chose only one of the videos as the work, basically. And it's basically just open your button, open your zipper, and breathe. So that is the how to get closure for me. It's just simple. It's just let it go. Just breathe, let it go. So at that moment I was like, okay, I'm okay with where I am right now. I'm okay with where everyone is. And then the next thing was then to find kind of my way in this. And I've been at that time I was also struggling with the idea of being dependent, because in the Netherlands I used to live alone. And then when I came back to Curacao, I moved in with my mom, which is totally fine because she's like very cool and I don't have any issues in that sense. But still, you question your kind of the sense of how much you depend on someone now, and realizing that she depends more on me than I depend on her, because she was happy that finally she has someone in the house. So that kind of relationship. And I was also questioning, comparing my relationship with my mom with the relationship we as a country have with the Netherlands, which at that time we were like in huge debt, and we were asking the Netherlands to give us money to pay this debt. And then people were like people from here were saying like, yeah, they should give us the money, because they owe, in a way, acting as if they owe us money, and then the people from the Netherlands were like, yeah, but why do we have to give you money? You didn't do anything for us in a way, and we're paying your debts, and then you have another debt, and we have to pay that one too, like, so this kind of questions. I was questioning a lot of things. And then now, lately, these past 2 years, I've been working on self-love. So everything in my work has had to do with that, because I was at the point where I was okay again with everything that's happening around me, and feeling okay in my placement here, and trying to figure out how to make art here, because it's also a very difficult place to make art. Because art is not that valued here in a way. So then a friend sent me these pictures of when we were little, I think 14, 15. And when I saw the pictures, I saw that I was the only one who was covering herself with a towel in every single pictures. You know, like 10 pictures, and I was covering myself in all of them. Everyone was happy, jumping, showing themselves, and I was just covering myself. So that was like kind of sad for me to see, and I was like, whoa, I really didn't like my body. I was really not confident that at that time. And then I realized that I'm still not. But now I'm better. At that time, I still wasn't. So I was like, whoa, reality check. And then I started working on that, you know. So then everything that I've been doing since then was to find myself in a way and be okay in the body that I am, and not think that I'm fat, or not even care, well, if I'm fat or not, you know, and all those things. And then I started realizing that a lot of those things that are seen in that picture are because of my upbringing and because of this country that supposedly is not that religious, but everything, our whole system and the way we think and everything is based on is created on Catholicism, basically, or Christianism in a way. So that is embraced in our way of thinking, how we treat each other, how we treat women. So I've been doing that in my research. So researching this relationship between woman, religion, and society. So that's what I've been working on.
Yes,
it's super long, but yeah.
Yeah, I noticed something. You said that your work is like a therapy. It has a therapeutic influence or consequence. Usually, when people say that the artwork is like a therapy, I think for most, not for you, people mistake, and it's not therapeutic. It's usually just a cathartic thing. People do art and it's sort of a cathartic moment, and then they feel good for a while, but actually no knowledge comes after that. But I think from what I've seen in your work, you have that one more circle around it. Like you went through the process of doing it has its cathartic moment, but then you go through, okay, let's see what does it mean actually, and then you find a solution. So it kind of connects you with the shifting of identity from one to another. Well, from what you said, that you felt like you were 10 years older than the rest of the peers when you came back. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think also like you're exploring all these questions of identity in many different ways. And I think this is very valuable. So in that way, it brings you, besides the artwork, it brings you back something for yourself personally. That relates to what you said, therapeutic part.
Yeah.
But like what you were explaining, like all this is so great presented in that video work that we will link everything to your website, so everybody who is watching this can find your Instagram and your website, because I think this is shown so well in your work. I love that video work. What's it called? The one with where you're doing the religion and female body and all this.
It's called Assuming That White is Purity.
That one is really great video. I think it's one of the best that I've seen. So I really like putting a lot of attention to this, because I would like for people to see that one, so we can link it especially.
Yeah, you have a good intuition, visuals, and then the way you use language, it's really interesting. Even this video, it can be seen like you definitely have that approach that you address language as authority, like you said. And in the video, it's shown all of the best. It's very simple. By the way, you show it is the most simple way, no narrative, just the words in simple places, like the video in the right time and the right tempo. So I think it's one of the best videos.
The rhythm of changing between the picture and the sound picture and the words, how they're changing in between. I think that's really fantastic. fantastic rhythm. But I mean, like now we're talking about it, I think people should see it. I mean, like now we're talking about it, I think people should see it.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, and the way I made that video also says a lot of it, and I think this is the connection with the way I do language too, because I've been thinking about it since you asked me. I've been like just thinking about it, and I think it's a matter of, even though a lot of people say this, and I don't want to like really put everything on that, but I think a lot of it is intuition, just go with what you know, go with what you feel. And that is what I do with language too, like I if it fits better, it feels better to say it in English right now than I say it in English, and then let's continue in papiamento because now it feels better in papiamento, so this transition, knowing when something feels right. And that is exactly what happened with this video, that it looks so thought out. Well, I don't know, the way you explained it and the way we talked about it the last time, it felt like it was super thought out. But everything was based on intuition, because I just had this idea, again, the visions. I saw these pillars, these white pillars on a white background. So I just started with that. I just grabbed the 3 pillars and sorry for that. I just saw the 3 pillars, and I said, let's just try it out. So I started with that, and then I envisioned this woman, but without a face. So then I just grabbed one of my students and said, like, come, let's do it. And covered her face and started doing some things. And then I was like, no, but I want your whole body. So, but I don't want your body, but I want your whole body. So then I just covered it with white fabric, and then I started filming that, and then just saying, okay, come here, go there, and changing the pillars, putting them on the floor and stuff like that. And someone was like, whoa, that looks like a cross. And I'm like, oh, interesting. Did not see that, but that's good. So let's, So then it was just going, and I filmed it in like 2 hours or something like that. And then I had to go to the Netherlands, but I knew I was missing some candles, and everything was white, so I wanted black candles because my color palette most of the times is black, white, and the color of the skin, So I was like, I need black candles. So I just bought some black candles before I left for the Netherlands, and then I filmed the candles in Netherlands. And then I edited when I came back. And I've been editing this video for almost a year because I was not happy with the sound. So everything edited, I was happy with, but I was not happy with the sound. And then last year, I asked someone to help me with the sound, and then I finished it finally. So
Yeah, I think
it started in 2019.
The sound is spot on.
What did you say? Sorry?
Sound is spot on. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, great. This person's going to be very happy when I'm gonna tell him like the sound that you said. The sound is spot on.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes. The Zoom is having a time limit, so we have like 10 more minutes. But
how come the Zoom now has time?
Yeah.
limit?
Well.
Yeah.
So like, you have.
It always has.
Sorry.
But we can also just close and call again.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
If you prefer that, I have no problem.
Yes. Yes. So you want to say something more about some project that you're working on right now?
No, I don't have anything specific.
It's okay.
Right now, like I'm still working on the.
It's okay.
What were you going to say?
whatever you want. I mean, like, I wanted to give you more time to talk about your work, but you can choose if you want to say something more about some older works or in general.
Hmm. Well, now I'm working on the, because I told you the process of the self-love work, and then I realized that a lot of it could come together, because obviously it's all about the same topic or the same theme, but at that time I was just working through it, so I just made different works, and then I realized that all these works can actually go together. So right now I'm working on a short film, which include all the different installations, sculptures, paintings, and performances that I've been working on for this time. So, but the plan is like to kind of elevate everything. So not literally grab one installation that I already made and just put it inside, but kind of finding the next step in a way. And then, but also like structure it. So that's why I did the blog, because in the blog I could structure my ideas and everything that I wanted to say. So I split it in three parts, which were, I don't remember right now. I know for sure one of them was Woman, Society, and Sins, Woman and Perfection, and the last one was called Mancha. Mancha is the title of the short film, and Mancha means stained. So because in the whole idea of religion, of a woman being virgin and white and clean and pure, and I'm just okay with the fact that I'm stained, and stained in the best way ever. You know, that I don't have to be perfect, I don't have to be pure. I just am what I am. You know, so that's why I call it I'm stained in a way. So those are the three categories in a way. So then I structured it in this way, and right now I'm still working on the essay, because I think it's very important that I get out everything that I've been working through on paper too, because there's a lot of things that I did not even approach during the time. You know, like for example, my mom or my dad, you know, they also had an influence on me, and a lot of other things in my life, you know. So and I just want to explore all those things. Maybe I'm not gonna put all of them in the work, but for myself, I think it's important. And I also see the essay as a separate work. You know, the essay on its own can also be its own work, let's say so.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to
So
see.
yeah, that's what I'm working on right
Yeah,
now.
definitely looking forward to see what your next thing is. I was really pleased to read your text and see your video, and yeah, we had some conversation about it, yeah, previously. Yeah, I was so pleased
Yeah.
to hear that you have something new.
I will send you my essay so you can give me your
Yeah,
opinion.
definitely. Yeah, I will
Yeah.
do that. Yeah, I was interested
Yeah.
the way you were in the video, the way you presented influence of religion, your reaction to it, and the position of woman position. Or actually, it's not the woman as a like female male. It's the woman position, which is also in language. And then how you use language in defining the identities. It's very simple sentences, but the way you connect them with your video work, that is what inspires something much. What's the word? I'm lacking the word now. Nevertheless, I was trying to say that I'm looking forward to your new essay and then talking to you furthermore, because now I think this is going to end us like the video call.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, maybe we can stop now and then
Okay, we can stop
start
and we
again.
can call
Yeah,
you again.
yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and I was thinking like to mention also that Boshko, you were inspired with her work and that you wrote the text. We're preparing this online magazine and it's really new, so it's not up yet, but it's going to be soon, and we will link it up also with an interview, so maybe people can read about the text and your work all at the same time. Maybe like if you want to say something.
Yeah, I would like to say that everybody should see the work, the video, because it's great. If somebody like, I don't know, just connecting to Lynch or David Lynch, you have that feel to it, like really intuitive, lots of meaning without a meaning, you know, it's almost like you're implying us to think that there must be some of the meanings, but you never say anything. So then it's there, but not there. Yeah, it's completely Lynchian type. And also I was so enjoying just seeing things like terms that usually in Slavoj Žižek's philosophy, Jacques Lacan, like terms jouissance, the big other, object small a, object a, and that was just amazing there. Like the whole video is full of them. Like if somebody is interested in that, they should see the video and they will see a lot of
and
it.
your explanation, because your text is...
Yeah, I was writing about it because I was so inspired by the video and your text, and then it just drew me in. It was you know, the whole, and that from which I couldn't get out when I started writing it. So yeah, just wanted to say that it will be on our magazine when we publish it. It's still in preparation, but we'll link that. And yeah, I think I wanted to say that everybody who's watching this, watch the video. It's important.
Thank you for the promo.
Yeah, definitely.
And you know what's funny is that the video came out of something I wrote. So it was because I do a lot of free writings, which is basically just writing whatever you think without grammar or anything or language or whatever, just mind paper, and then you fix whatever you need to fix afterward. And I wrote this sentence that says, assuming that white is purity, how is it that it can be stained so easily? And then from that, I don't know, it just created itself.
What was also funny is that when you presented us your work, it was at the end of the residency. Not all people were there. They were like, you were so shy. Like, well, I have some new work. Maybe I can show you. And then you presented that, and we were like, "What? Why? What are you? Why not earlier? We can spend like three sessions just talking about it, you know." So yeah, and we still, I don't think that everybody has seen it. We still have to meet, once at least,
Yes, we should meet. Like we have an idea to meet everyone at least one more time, and then again we can continue working on the project that we were all talking about. And then also I wanted to create like a virtual party to introduce everyone from previous virtual residency with this one. I think like extending a network will be great.
Oh yeah, that's really great. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, so we will be just continuing this.
Infinite residency.
Yes, infinite residency.
Then a reunion, and then
Cool. And then is there anything else you would like to add about your work, or like any thoughts that you would like to share?
I just want to say thank you to you guys, because it's been a really beautiful residency. Like I said, a different experience, because my definition of art in Europe, I hope people in Europe don't take it the wrong way. But like I said, it's like talking about what is art, and not necessarily about art itself. So I appreciated that this one was talking about art itself, and I say art itself also as us as as artists, because there is no art without the artist. So it was amazing to be able to know artists and not only superficially what they make, but also what make them make something, and I was very impressed by Elena because I'm as you know, my work has a lot of meaning behind, or not saying that other works don't have meaning behind their work, but that is very close to my heart and close to everything that's happening around me. So seeing that Elena was experimenting, and it was so different from what I made, and to learn that because a work does not have to do with someone, it doesn't mean that it is empty, and not that I not that I saw that in everyone's work that did not deal with the same topics that my work deals with, but always I felt an emptiness in the sense of that I could not feel anything when looking at the work. And I like it when a work makes me feel something, makes me think, makes me react, at least something, like not asking a lot, just when I see it, I want to, something needs to happen with me inside my brain, inside my body, and she really changed that perspective for me, because I was very impressed at how the focus, and me as a performance artist, I saw the whole process being a performance, thought that was beautiful. And also Ray and Noel, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Did not forget their name. Good. Because I know that being Cuban, you cannot make art about anything else, basically, But the way that he made it, or they made it, was still different, and it connected with me in a way of this idea of the rebel, the rebellion that I was going through. Obviously, nothing compared to what they have to go through. So, not even close. We're not gonna even say that. But just the idea of rebellion and doing it in a different way, because rebellion doesn't have to be all the time anger and lashing out and screaming. And the way they do it, there's no apparent anger. Obviously, there's underlying anger. I don't think they're doing it happy, but the feeling that they gave is something, in a way, even peaceful, even like opening, like for you to feel welcome to be part of what they're making, in a way, so so yeah, I think everyone taught me something. Kayla was also very inspiring to me, because I could never think that you should paint a certain way. I always had that kind of freedom, and it's very interesting because I had this choice of not wanting to do art because of that, because I saw that art here in Curacao at that time was mostly landscapes, beautiful paintings, colorful. As you can see, my work is not colorful at all. And I don't want to paint landscapes. So I was like, I'm not going to do art until I met someone, an artist, who actually did what I wanted to do, which was expressing myself through art, and not necessarily paint a picture of what an island is or how we are as people. So when Kayla was saying this, I was like, whoa, it's crazy that because she's a woman, she needs to do it in a certain way, and the fact that she rebelled against that, and in the most beautiful way, because it's irony, and I love irony. So the ironic in it, to have the man in the most womanish in the perspective of the society, kind of sense, and with the colors and the sunlight and making them seem so I cannot find the word, not pure, but sensitive, not sensitive, vulnerable. Like seem so vulnerable.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. So I think everyone in the residency really taught me something, and obviously you guys taught me a lot too. I mean, your feedback on my work alone is like, I cannot ask for anything else, you know. So
So
yeah.
much.
And about your work too, that taught me something too.
Oh
I was
yeah.
like impressed. Yeah, I was very impressed at the fact that you don't feel the need to fill the paper. You know, that to me, and making something that can seem unfinished still not unfinished, you know. Because in my first year, second year of the academy with classes of drawing, I would like my paper to be white, you know, and have space. But everything was just against that, you know, like everyone is like, no, but you should, you know. And I just started to do these paintings with ink because I kind of don't have the patience to properly draw. I have to say honestly, and also don't have the patience to properly paint. So I like to just again express, let colors flow and let the ink flow, and you know, and doing that, they were always containing me in the sense of like, you need to fill the paper with something. So I would just fill it with ink, you know, just fill it with ink, literally, like just black and watery and make it gray, you know. I would just fill it like that because I'm like, I don't want to fill it the way you want me to fill it.
Yeah.
So seeing your work really brought me back to that moment, and made me also want to kind of challenge myself to maybe it's okay to just do it and leave the you know, and see if patience runs out. Maybe that's also good, you know.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's part of your
Absolutely.
work. That's part of yourself. So
Yeah.
yeah, I totally
Thank
know what you
you.
mean. I was going through all these same range of emotions and exploring all these questions. And for me, it was like allowing myself to make a mistake. So if I allow myself to do that, then I can see what it is actually, and how can I use it in my advantage, not against myself. So in that way, I think I was just exploring this idea also like during my studies, and and then like things were finding their way out. I think like it took like 20 years, like from the first moment I got this idea to the final product. But I think, I mean, to make it like what I was showing you. But like from the beginning, like I had these like weird linear drawings that were floating in no space on a white paper. They were like really unique, but like they meant something for me. And in that way, I also don't have patience like to finish up things, like to polish them as like there is an expectation of what the drawing should be. So for me, it was more like an idea, like exploring what drawing or painting can be, like all the ways what it can represent. Like, so that was kind of my goal, like to find new ways what it can be. Like if they tell us, like the society or school or whoever, if they tell us that like you should present this like to be correct in a posture, in proportions or whatever, like if you're doing something figurative, I was like always questioning what else it can be. Like, why do we have to follow the rule? And then like if we have the need to explore something else. So I think this is something like how
also, I think the people are really afraid of unfinished things. Like,
yeah,
if the form is empty of contents, like they're literally afraid. Like paper has to be filled. Like you cannot miss white spot somewhere. No, everything has to be filled. I think it's all sorry, I'm lacking words.
in all the levels
all
of,
levels of life is the same, I think.
yeah,
Don't
Yeah.
leave
the
empty space in the room
But-
where you're living. Don't leave the empty
but
spaces.
it is
Yes, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
I think it relates like to the personality of an artist also, like what you were saying. I think it's like if an artist how the artist lives its life and all the thought process, this will reflect in an artwork. So why should we try to hide our impatience or any other parts of ourselves? This is actually what is represented in an artwork. So I think it's important. Like, why should we hide? Like, this is part of myself that I don't like, so I will cover it up and I will present just the nice part. I think everything should be included, and that's actually the value of it. So I think it's important.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
but
it's
thank you.
crazy.
Like, I'm happy that like, you responded, because I think you responded exactly in the way how I felt about it.
Yeah, and it brought me back to when I was in high school, and we had to do a landscape, and obviously me not wanting to do landscapes, and me with no patience, we were making a drawing. We were at the beach and we were sitting and seeing like the rocks and the water, and like I think there was like some kind of small cave or something like that. And I just got annoyed because it's windy. I don't want to do landscapes and I don't have patience. So at some point, I just started making at the cave. So I make everything black. And then everything was becoming black. And I was like, oh my God, so that's really, really, and that is the moment I learned without knowing the exact words, how to stop, when to stop. So you need to know when to stop, or take a break. And that is the moment I learned that without knowing that I learned it, And I think that is the moment, one of those moments that also made me afraid of painting, of drawing, of not feeling in everything, of making mistakes. So yeah, what you're saying is really, and right now I'm like, okay, so this is something I need to work on. So maybe in the future you'll see a lot of unfinished paintings or drawings, hopefully. Yeah.
I encourage you to explore this area.
Really cool.
But I think like this, exactly this, what we are sharing, and this kind of exchange that we can have this way, I think this is the most valuable. It's actually the part of the process, like thinking process and art process. This is something that is so valuable that we get an opportunity to hear that other people are going through similar experiences and how they're dealing with it. And it triggers something, like it moves our perspective. I think, like for me at least, this is like really valuable.
For me too, super valuable.
Yeah.
Yes.
So do you think that we covered up everything? Do you want to add anything more? We can talk all day, I feel.
Yes, obviously I have no problem at all. But no, if you have questions, then I can answer, but I feel like I talk too much. So.
No, it was really great. I'm just like, I totally lost track of time. Like usually the interviews are about an hour so that other people have patience to watch them. So maybe we can just like stop now, but then like we can continue in the future. I'm really happy that we connected. And I'm looking forward to see your new works and to continue our new collaboration and to create new collaborations. And yes, so do you want to add anything more?
Yeah, please send me everything.
Yes, please send us everything.
And if you have any questions about what we talked about, please.
Yes, I'm going to go through it. I promised myself that this week, but it's already middle of the week. But I promised myself that this week I'm going to focus on my work. But this is focusing on my work right now. So this one counts. Today counts. But realistically, because I like to be realistic too and honest with myself, I think next week I will I will properly sit and think, because I want to. One of the things that I've been thinking about the short film, is that I've had this picture already of what I wanted, because I made this vision board and everything, and I was so focused on that I was not open for other things that come along. And I found two things quite interesting that happened in this process. That was this kind of corrosive reaction that the salt has with wood and paint. So I don't know if it's with the wood or if it's with the paint. So I'm figuring it out right now. So I'm doing little experiments to know what it is that makes this corrosive thing happen. And I want to exploit that because it's a very interesting metaphor to the work itself, because salt, which is purity, purifying, and it has a corrosive reaction. So it totally comes back to the work. So I was like, I need to use this. I cannot just overlook it and continue. And I can send you a picture of the reaction. I will send it to you. And so I want to try out or see how I can make paintings with this, or what I can do with it, sculptures maybe, I don't know. And I also thought it could be interesting to do collages as animations or something, or backgrounds. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but I want to experiment with collages because it's something that I have not done much, but seeing it visually in the work, it could really mean something for it. So that's why I want to try out. So those are the two things that I want to focus on right now. Don't know where I was going with that, or why did I start talking about it?
That you will send us.
You will send us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I will send you.
Yes. I'm excited to see this.
Yeah.
Well, yes, thank you so much for this interview. And we're keeping in touch as always.
See you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you so much. Bye.
Okay,
Yeah.
bye.